This is the Haulin Assets podcast, where we show you how to start and run your own trucking company. Ever wanted to go out on your own? Follow Chris as he goes through the highs and lows of running on his own authority.
Welcome, everybody, and welcome to the Haulin Assets podcast. I am Craig, your host, and over there on a camera that I am not going to activate quite yet, it's Chris. How's it going, Chris?
Good. It's taken us like 10 minutes to get to like where you could like compose yourself well enough to record this episode.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I'm not switching the camera over yet because I want our YouTube audience on tenterhooks. And if you're not watching on YouTube, at least go give it a glance when you're at a place where you can stop and do so. Because it's Halloween-ish, right? And Chris, I've got my costume on. Do you know?
Yeah, I hadn't noticed.
Do you know what I am? I'm you. I'm the responsible, business-minded. I'm the guy who's obsessed with spreadsheets and efficiency.
What a nerd.
I know. And then there's you. So for those who can't see, Chris is dressed up like, is that a Motley Crue t-shirt or, oh, it's Animal.
Animal from the Muppets. What are you talking about?
Anyway, so hi, Chris. You look ridiculous.
Thank you very much.
But that's a nice trophy you got there.
Yeah, we had a company Halloween party today, and for all of you to see, I won a little prize, a little trophy. I'm proud of it.
I think I would have done pretty well in this t-shirt. Okay, so Chris, we are talking today about September 2024 financials. And so as a reminder to everybody, you can go to HaulinAssetsLLC.com if you want to get fancy /episodes. And you can find the show notes there for these financials episodes. The documents are all right there in the full show notes. So if you're listening on, Spotify or iTunes or whatever they call that thing these days, that's great. And you'll see some show notes there. But go to HaulinAssetsLLC.com and you can actually follow along with the documentation that we're going to be talking about today. I was just there a few minutes ago, and I genuinely really like the show notes for these financials episodes. It's really nice to follow along with. So anyway, Chris, what? Oh, gosh. I genuinely can't even.
Do you like my sleeve?
I do not. Chris.
Kind of makes me want to get tatted up.
This is the least military I've ever seen. You know what? I'm going to say something I've never said before, Chris. Maybe people shouldn't go watch this on YouTube because it's going to be really hard to take anything you say seriously
ever again
for the next 20 to 30 minutes. All right. Before we do numbers, anything you want to talk about? Anything going on in your world these days?
Nothing really big with the trucks. Just wanted to say, like, in the spirit of Halloween, like one of my favorite things as we come into fall is when you're driving down the road and you see somebody's rig all decked out in something holiday-ish. And so in Halloween, you'll see people that, whether it's skull and crossbones or something else, do something to their rig that look really cool. So if you happen to be listening to this within a day or two of it getting published, go ahead and you can email us a picture of your rig decked out in holiday something. And we want to share those. We want to see them, see what they look like. And if you do so, you can email them to Erica, ERICAN, at motorcarrierhq.com, or we're going to be posting some stuff on social media. You can also post them there on the Haulin Assets Facebook page. And whoever, we're going to have a little voting, and whoever gets the best contest will get a $50 gift card.
All right. $50 for the best decorated rig. Yeah. I love it. I like the ones where you just get the top half of the skeleton and strap it like to the front of the grill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
those
that's
are cool.
a good one.
I like those. Anyway, it'll be fun to see what people come up with. All right, Chris, should we talk about some numbers then?
Yeah, let's get into it.
I got to get this episode over with because I can't take this much longer. Okay, so September, just to lay the groundwork a little bit here, things have been looking up for the last year or so, but not quite. There was 1 month that was really pretty darn good, but most of it has been, hey, we're in the black, but it's not as far as you want it to be. Is that fair?
Yep. And it's, guess what?
About the same?
More of the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you remember, in August we had a really good revenue month. September not so much. We had 2 drivers leave us, and so we basically had 2 trucks sitting. They weren't both sitting for the entire month, but mileage wise, it kind of almost looks that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into that then. We start with the total miles run then on, call it an average of 9 trucks this month.
Yeah.
Out of 11. Okay. Total miles run.
107,902.
Okay. So, well, I guess for 9 trucks, that's not terrible.
For 9 trucks, that's pretty good.
Right.
But
the problem is the fixed costs that we sometimes talk about that you
Yep.
still have to pay for even when a truck isn't rolling.
for sure.
Okay, so 107,000. Call it 108 if we round up. How much of that was Deadhead?
5,141, which is 4.8, which is actually the lowest we've had in a little while. So that was kind of nice.
Okay, so under 5%. That's good. Total revenue comes to what?
$227,931.30.
Right, and that's a pretty big drop. But what was it last month?
Like about $50,000 less than last month.
Okay,
Which 2 trucks not running, that's about what you'd expect.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so an all-in rate per mile then of
$2.11.
okay.
So that's 2 cents more than last month.
Yeah.
But one of the things that, as tough as this market has been, one of the things that is kind of beneficial is that we're about 20 cents a mile better than we were last September.
Last year.
So that's a positive. And that's because of a lot of changes we made. You know, that's about the time we started bringing dispatching in-house, and we're getting a higher percentage of our loads direct from our shippers, not off the spot market. And that's a big part of the reason on that 20-cent jump. But man, if we were down another 20 cents a mile, that'd be rough.
Is the market itself doing any better than it was last year, or do you attribute that 20 cents pretty fully to the changes you guys have made?
To the changes we've made. I mean, the market itself, I don't think in the last year has really gotten much worse, but I don't think it's gotten much better either.
Right.
It's kind of held steady.
Okay.
And it's really stayed that way for quite a while.
Well, look at it this way, Chris. We were talking about September numbers at the end of October, of course. So as we're recording this, just one more month until, hopefully, all these people listening and all their relatives and all their friends and everybody that they've never met will start ordering stuff online and shipping all over the country constantly.
Do. Yeah.
So, all right. So $2.11, and we'll watch and hope that creeps up, maybe jumps up in the next few months. Okay. So the total profit then turned out to be what?
It actually was a little bit better than I thought. Based on such a big dip in revenue, I was kind of expecting that our total profit would not be very good, but it turned out to be $16,024.48. So that's actually better than the big revenue month, but still not where we need it to be. Not really close to where we would like it to be, but better than I thought it was going to be when I kind of saw the revenue numbers.
Right. And when we talk about fixed costs per truck, and there's some fancy accounting things that go into saying that, hey, just because we had a profit on paper doesn't mean that we actually have positive cash flow. Is that right?
Correct.
And so you'll have to jog my memory, let alone the listeners, but according to my memory, I always think of it as between $1,000 and $1,500 a month per truck that you need to make up in the black. And so if you've got 11 trucks, and we're not talking about trucks on the road, trucks that are on your books, right? So if you've got 11 trucks on the road, you need to be making anywhere from 11 to 16, 17,000 to actually break even that month. Is that fair?
So it depends on a lot of different factors, but specifically like what your debt structure looks like. So if you look at Haulin Assets right now, honestly, to be able to break even on our trucks, we need to be pretty close to $3,000 a month in profitability per truck. So I mean, we're talking 35-ish, they're between $35,000 and $40,000 to be cash flow positive.
Right. So at this point, then, how sustainable is the way things have been going for the last year? Obviously, when the numbers were red, you couldn't do that long term, right? And now the numbers are in the black, but as you say, not far enough into the black. And so is it a similar kind of thing where you're looking at this going, oh, geez, I don't know about this in the long term? Or do you feel more comfortable and confident, even if it's not where you want?
Well, I definitely feel more comfortable and confident than where we were last year, but we're still not comfortable. I'm still pretty confident we're pulling through this okay. I mean, luckily we've got I've got other businesses that can kind of help out for a while, and that's really what we're doing. But is it long term sustainable? I mean, no. But I wouldn't keep doing it if I didn't think things were going to turn around, and they will. It's just a matter of time. I kind of, to be honest with you, like surprised it's taken this long, but every month that goes by and we get another month closer to when things will turn around. And I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I knew when that was going to be.
Right.
It's so hard to predict and so hard to say. A year ago I thought it'd be 6 months. And we're 6 months past that and we're still not there. Will it be 6 months from now? Will it be a year from now? I don't know. It's so hard to say.
Well, when that record company deal comes through and you finally ink that contract for your metal album, you'll be sitting pretty.
You're kind of holding things together based off of how long it kind of took us to get started. Like I'm surprised you haven't broken down in little girl giggles.
I'll be honest, I'm disturbed by how used to it I've gotten in the last 20 minutes. It's not a welcome feeling, but there it is. All right, Chris. So let's talk then about any specifics you want to talk about from the profit and loss statement, which people can follow along with at haulinassetsllc.com. So from the profit and loss, anything you want to pull out and highlight?
It was really pretty bland this month. A couple little tiny things. So I was looking at maintenance repairs, and it's about $20,000, and I was thinking, man, that's a little bit on the high side. And then I started to think, but it seems like I've been saying it's that $20,000 is a little bit on the high side for a while now.
Right.
So I've kind of went back and looked history-wise where our maintenance and repairs have been, and $20,000 is getting more along the lines of normal. And you think about it, our fleet is aging. Our average, let's see, I figured this out. The average mileage on our trucks is 337,000 miles. If you take out our oldest truck, that takes it down to 290,000 miles. But that's still, that's our average across the fleet. So we're starting to have some trucks that have a little bit higher mileage. And so it, you expect that you're going to have more in maintenance and repairs. So long story short, I think that 20,000 is becoming more of our normal.
So if you wanted to mitigate that by reducing the age of your fleet, i.e. selling off some trucks and buying some newer ones, he just brushed the fake hair out of his eyes, and I can't do it anymore. Okay, no, this is a serious question, Chris. Stop.
Why don't you try that again then?
Stop.
Look, I got my serious look on.
I am going to murder you. This is awful.
I've really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah,
Watching you squirm has been it's been a pleasure for me. I might do this every month.
Okay, that I can encourage. I'll get used to it then. No, so you could reduce the age of your fleet by buying new trucks and getting rid of your old ones. But then you're just swapping out expenses, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're increasing your debt load versus your maintenance and repairs. Do you have a sense of which one you prefer long-term, or, all things being equal? Of course, they never are, but all things being equal, would you rather be paying debt or paying for maintenance and repairs?
There's a balance, right? At some point, it becomes more worth it to, increase your debt and reduce your repairs. Right now, I don't think anything's old enough and our repairs aren't high enough, other than on that oldest truck. I think that oldest truck probably within the next 6 months will be gone. The other ones, it's not, they're not quite ready yet. The nice thing is, though, is once you've got them, paid off, or you might have a little bit higher repairs, but then it's paid off and you can stomach a little bit higher repairs. So I don't think any of our other fleet, the rest of it, we're going to replace anytime soon. But that oldest truck, I think within the next 6 months, there's probably a pretty good chance we'll either sell it and replace it with something new, or we'll just get rid of it for a while and wait. It's probably going to depend on several factors, including kind of interest rates and where the freight market is at the time, whether we replace it or we just sell it and hold off for a little while.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Anything else from the profit and loss you want to talk about?
I think, fuel. So fuel was 27.1% of revenue, which is almost exactly what it was last month. So that's kind of holding steady. Usually we're kind of getting into the time of year where they have to add anti-gel additives in cold weather. And so that always gives fuel a little bit of an increase. And then also because of, home heating oil demand goes through the roof, and that kind of competes with diesel fuel. So I kind of expect that to start creeping up here in the next several months. At least our raw cost, maybe our revenue with the fourth quarter push will match it. And so maybe the percentage doesn't change much, but I'm anticipating over the next 3 months, our fuel bill will probably go up some.
Okay. Excellent. All right, Chris, anything else from this month that you want to talk about? Any other issues that have come up or stories you want to tell?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody, make sure that you go to HaulinAssetsLLC.com and make sure you go to Motor Carrier HQ. Let's see if I can enunciate that. MotorCarrierHQ.com, where you can buy T-shirts just like this one and go as Chris for Halloween next year. All you need is an iPad with a spreadsheet open at all times in your hand and a T-shirt like this, and that can be you.
Yeah.
And lastly, HaulinAssetsAcademy.com, where you can get a lot of the lessons and wisdom that Chris has brought us for 5+ years. It's condensed into a few lessons. They're actually remarkably cheap for an online course, which, those things can get really out of hand. So this one is quite affordable, and learn all that you need to learn to get out on the road on your own. All right, Chris.
And don't forget to give us pictures of your decked out rigs.
Yes, decked out rigs. Facebook, just search Haulin Assets, no G. You'll find us there. You will immediately see Chris in his ridiculous wig. You'll find it easily. So find Haulin Assets, submit those pictures, get yourself that $50 gift card if you've got the best decorated rig. I love that. This feels like I'm in a junior high class and we're doing a little costume contest or something. So, love it. Okay, everybody, we will talk to you next time.
See you then.
I will tell you this, Chris. So I was at a Halloween party recently, and I told you before we fired up the microphones, I've got my costume all figured out, right? Because I went to Germany last year, I came home with a sweet set of lederhosen and got the shoes, the socks, the ankle warmers, the checkered shirt, and I'm decked out, right? I'm full Bavarian. It's great. And so I'm not much of a Halloween costume kind of guy. So I've got this all figured out and I show up and I look like a weird disheveled hobbit, right? I look ridiculous in this thing, but people think it's pretty cool. Anyway, everybody's talking about my costume and treating me like I'm like this cool guy at the party. And I realized something that had never happened to me before, Chris. I was the coolest guy at a party. And I don't
know that feeling.
100. You do not know that feeling, I promise. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that feeling, and it made me deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I was at a Halloween party, a bunch of people there, and it was like the dorkiest dork fest you've ever seen. And here's the thing. It sounds like I'm being judgmental. I'm not. Because I was so uncomfortable. I realized that I'm way more comfortable being the nerdy, kind of like not quite cool kid, hanging around the edges of the cool crowd. That's my milieu. Zone. Yeah. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with this information, but I'm probably going to seek out much cooler people for Halloween parties in the future so that I don't become like the center of attention. in my awesome lambskin leather overalls.
The closest I ever got to that was actually at a Christmas party, where I don't know how this tradition started, but it's like an ugly sweater Christmas party. That's what it was. It was really an ugly sweater Christmas party. But I went dressed up as Cousin Eddie with when he was shitters full.
Okay.
So I'm in a white bathrobe, carrying around a motorhome shitter tube with the Gomer Pyle hat on and a fake cigar in my mouth. It was pretty good.
That is pretty good.
It was legit.
I like that one. That's just one step up because you're carrying something around. It's one step up from going as the dude.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Chris. I'll see you next time.
See it.